Today we are working Psalm 68. In Psalm Magic, some of the traditional uses for Psalm 68 include overcoming evil influences, dispelling evil energies, exorcisms of evil spirits, and today I would like to use Psalm 68 to destroy any problem. The way we work Psalm Magic is simple and effective. We take the psalm in question and we recite it out loud all the way through once without stopping. This is called an incantation. Then we go back through that same psalm and we take one verse at a time and dig for hidden meanings behind each verse. We call those magic seeds. And by contemplating those seeds and doing our best to apply what we find there to the situation we brought to the psalm, we are taking those magic seeds and planting them in the fertile grounds of our mind. Now, I'd like to point out that there's no way that you will ever find all the magical seeds. There are an infinite amount of magic seeds for you to find. But when we do plant those in the fertile grounds of our minds, they take root. They grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's what we are going to do together right now with Psalm 68. Let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name Yah, and rejoice before him. A father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. God setteth the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land. O God, when thou wentest forth before thy people, when thou didst march through the wilderness, Selah. The earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. Even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of God, the God of Israel. Thou, O God, didst send a plentiful rain, whereby thou didst confirm thine inheritance when it was weary. Thy congregation hath dwelt therein, thou, O God, hast prepared of thy goodness for the poor. The Lord gave the word, great was the company of those that published it. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divided the spoil. Though ye have lien among the pots, yet shall ye be as wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in salmon. The hill of God is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap ye high hills? This is the hill which God desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord will dwell in it forever. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts for men, yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord God might dwell among them. Blessed be the Lord, who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation, Selah. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto God the Lord belong the issues from death. But God shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such as one as goeth on still in his trespasses. The Lord said, I will bring again from Bashan, I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea, that thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. They have seen thy goings, O God, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after. Among them were damsels playing with timbrels. Bless ye God in the congregations, even the Lord from the fountain of Israel. There is little Benjamin with their ruler, the princes of Judah and their council, the princes of Zebulun and the princes of Naphtali. Thy God Strengthen, O God, that which thou hast wrought for us. Because of thy temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto thee. Rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls, with the calves of the people, till every one submit himself with pieces of silver. Scatter thou the people that delighteth in war. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Sing unto God, ye kingdoms of the earth. O sing praises unto the Lord, Selah. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old. Lo, he doth send out his voice, and that a mighty voice. Ascribe ye strength unto God. His excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. O God, thou art terrible out of the holy places. The God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be God. The whole idea of this psalm is pilgrimage from Sinai to Zion. Sinai is representative of the place where the infinite reveals itself to us. And that's where in the Bible Moses received the Ten Commandments. When Moses did that, the mountain started spewing forth stuff. So it was possibly a volcano, this Mount Sinai. But see, Mount Sinai is the representation of primitive law. We are given the law on Sinai, but when we are brought into Zion, we are brought into grace. A lot of scholars are confounded by this psalm, and it's because it draws from so many different ancient sources. So it starts out with, let God arise, let his enemies be scattered, let them also that hate him flee before him. People that hate God are representational of our problem that we've brought to the psalm. And remember that all of our problems, especially our unsolvable problems, the ego delights in unsolvable problems because unsolvable problems keep us busy so that we don't ever question the ego. When it says, let God arise, let his enemies be scattered, we are recognizing not only that the problems in our physical world are going to be scattered, but the internal cause of those problems, our ego mind, is going to be scattered as well. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. And that's a wonderful image to use, just seeing your problem melt before you. Similar to what happens to darkness in a room when you turn the light on. There isn't a big war. There's not a big discussion. There's no lag time. The darkness is just gone. So you want to just see that problem melting away. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. You are the righteous. The righteous means you in your right mind. And in your right mind, you know there's no possibility that you could ever have a problem like this. In your right mind, you understand that it's not the infinite's will for you to have this problem. Therefore, this problem is divinely outmatched. Sing unto God, sing praises unto his name, extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name Yah, and rejoice before him. This is the cloud rider, translated word for word from the Hebrew as cloud rider. And this was supposedly in opposition to Baal, who was considered the sky god at the time. We're not here to have a Yahweh is better than Baal discussion because that's not a magical use of the Psalms. But for us, when such a thing comes up in the Psalms, Baal is not representative of that ancient sky god. Baal is representative to us of the demiurge. And the demiurge is dissolved in the presence of the infinite. A father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. It doesn't matter how long-standing this problem is. It doesn't matter how difficult you think this problem is or impossible this problem is to solve. The infinite's got it. The problem is outmatched, no matter how bad it is or no matter how much you think it's part of your DNA. The infinite has this, and the problem is outmatched. God setteth the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land. It's up to the infinite to judge, not up to us. We just bring our problem to the infinite, and the infinite separates the chaff from the grain for us. And anything that is not the will of the infinite is to dwell in a dry land. That means apart from you, separate from you, it's left to die. It just dries up and floats away. O God, when thou wentest forth before thy people, when thou didst march through the wilderness, Selah. That sojourn is through the wilderness from Sinai to Zion. It's an initiatory path, and when we go through initiations, we are always confronted with things. Our wilderness experience is reflected by whatever this problem is that you've brought to the psalm. When you start looking at your problem instead of being such an awful thing as just part of the wilderness experience, part of your initiation, then you recognize that whatever you've gone through with this problem has brought you closer to Zion, or the upliftment of your mind, the joining of your mind with your soul, you going home to the kingdom of heaven. That puts the problem in a different context, and it makes it easier for you to let go of the problem and let God handle it for you when you recognize that even though it wasn't the infinite's will for you to go through whatever you went through, the infinite can use it still for your good. Your problem, even though it wasn't the will of the infinite, it can still be used for your good. The earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. Even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of God, the God of Israel. Now that volcano of Sinai is exploding in our memory, the infinite can bring us from that experience into our real home, which is Zion. Obviously, these are all symbols. Sometimes when you are going about your life and you ask for help, the shaking of the presence of the infinite can be very startling and scary. When the three-dimensional universe starts to shake apart, it can be very scary and disconcerting. But then we recognize that the infinite is doing that in order to shake up our problem to solve it, and then take us out of the problem and gently bring us into Zion, which is our home, our place in heaven. It is symbolized by the sphere Da'at on the Hermetic Tree of Life. Thou, O God, didst send a plentiful rain, whereby thou didst confirm thine inheritance when it was weary. After the volcano shook, then it rained. That's a symbol of when things are breaking up, even though it's scary, we recognize that it's for our good. We want things to break up. We want the problem to break up, even though it's scary. And as soon as it's scary, the infinite brings a rain to cool it down, to make sure that we're safe. And it says, thou didst confirm thine inheritance when it was weary. You are the inheritance. So even when you're weary, even when you are a weary soul sojourning from your problem to your solution, the infinite has got you. Thy congregation hath dwelt therein. Thou, O God, hast prepared thy goodness for the poor. The congregation dwells within this company that is moving from Sinai to Zion. As you're on your way home, you recognize that the way has been prepared for you, and the journey itself is filled with goodness. Even though from the naked eye it looks like this congregation is going through wilderness, going through something scary, while they're in the wilderness, all their needs are met. Only good comes to them. It's as if they're not in the wilderness because of how well they're provided for. The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. The word is the will. The word is the will. And if you are willing to fulfill the will of the infinite, you are happy. When you go against the will of the infinite, you are unhappy. You want to publish the word of God. And that means that you are willing to have the will of the infinite move through you. You are the will of the infinite. When you are not projecting your own thoughts onto the situation, everything that comes through you is perfect. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divided the spoil. In the midst of your journey, when you come across enemies, the wars will be won by you easily, and not only will you win and be victorious, but you will get the spoils of those battles. Though ye have lien among the pots, ye shall be as the wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers yellow with gold. So no matter how bad you think things have been, and no matter how unworthy you might consider yourself to be, you're going to realize that none of that's true, that you have wings, and that you're not even having to walk on your pilgrimage to Zion. You can fly. When the Almighty scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in salmon. The kings that are scattered on your journey that are white as snow are the things in your life that you think are important. But the kings in general in the Psalms are things that you think are important. Oftentimes things that you think are authorities. Oftentimes things that you think are more powerful than you. But it's saying here that the infinite scatters those kings, that those things are there to serve you. That as you walk on your journey from Sinai to Zion, the things that used to be something that you thought were authority figures outside of you are there to serve you now. The hill of God is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap ye, ye high hills? This is the hill which God desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord will dwell in it forever. Bashan meaning fertile, prosperous. That fertile, prosperous hill is jealous of Zion. So our home in Zion, where we are headed, is so much more prosperous, so much more fertile than anything that we've ever imagined. And even the things that we think, oh, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if I could have that? Even those things are not good enough for us. What we have in store is even better. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. As you're journeying from one place to the next, you are in the company of God and the angels. Thousands of angels. That's how important you are. It's necessary for us to recognize, why is the infinite doing this for us? Because we're important. It's important to the infinite that this problem be solved for you. And the infinite knows how to solve this problem, to destroy this problem. And the infinite's got thousands of angels on it for you, all for you. That's how important you are. Thou hast ascended on high, thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts for men, yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord God might dwell among them. It doesn't matter how perfect you've been. It doesn't matter how many times you've let your ego get a hold of you and you've made mistakes. None of that matters. The infinite is with you and not going to leave you, not going to leave you alone, and is taking you and carrying you through into the solution. You're not bound by your past. You're not bound by your mistakes. You're not bound by other people's mistakes, by other people's opinions. It doesn't matter. The infinite's with you, dwelling among you. Blessed be the Lord who daily loaded us with benefits, even the God of our salvation, Selah, daily loaded us with benefits. Give us this day our daily bread, from the Lord's Prayer. It really means that if you are in the present moment and you are open and willing to have the infinite do for you the will of the infinite, it's not just that your needs are met, of course that, but that you're loaded with benefits. Back in the day, I don't think they use this slang anymore, but when somebody was really wealthy, you would say that, whoa, they're loaded. You're loaded daily with benefits. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto God the Lord belong the issues from death. The Lord of salvation means the solving of this problem. It's the infinite's will that this problem be solved. And the issues from death in this sense, meaning that the problem dies. The problem dies. And actually the problem's already dead. The problem doesn't have life because it didn't come from the infinite, so it doesn't have real life. It's a pseudo-life that it has. And so the problem dries up and floats away. God shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such as one goeth on still in his trespasses. The head of his enemies is the head of your problem, the head of the source of your problem, which is that ego mind that delights in you having problems, Like I said before, the ego trades in seemingly unsolvable problems because that keeps us so busy. And right now, we're not busy. The infinite is busy. Busy wounding the head and the hairy scalp of our problem and the source of our problem. The hairy scalp meaning the ego mind. The Lord said, I will bring again from Bashan. I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea. The depths of the sea is where you're scared and it seems like you're doomed. Or from Bashan, meaning, everything's pretty good. Neither one is good enough for you. Neither one is good enough for you. You're going to be brought from whatever you think is bad or good in this world into the truth, which is beyond what you have ever experienced, beyond what you've ever experienced. That thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. The foot represents understanding. When your foot is dipped in the blood of your enemies, that means that when this problem is solved, you're going to understand how and why you had the problem and how and why the problem was solved. It seems kind of gruesome, this imagery, but it's very solid imagery, meaning give you understanding. And understanding is sphere number 3 on the Hermetic Tree of Life, and that is the goddess. Now, the goddess was ripped out of the Bible, and so we have to see her symbolically. This is who's dipping your foot in the blood of your enemies, is the Shekinah. They have seen thy goings, O God, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. We're still talking about your enemies. We're still talking about your problems. The parts of the ego mind that have seen the goings likes to keep track of things. It likes to keep track of who said what, who did what, and it also likes to keep track of what you think the infinite is and what you think the craft is, what you think your spiritual life is, and use it against you. And it wants to try to do that in the sanctuary, but it can't because the king is in the sanctuary and the king is the infinite. The sanctuary is sacrosanct, and so none of these things will make it into Zion. The only thing that the ego can really accomplish, because the ego can't get into Zion, it can't exist there, but it can delay you from getting to Zion, that inner peace. The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after. Among them were damsels playing the timbrels. Now this is a procession going up to Zion, having a lot of joy. If you can keep that same sequence in your own life, the singers first, that's what you're doing with your voice, and then the players, that's what you're doing with your hands, and then the damsels playing with timbrels. The damsels are usually also dancing. So that's what you're doing with your body. Each of those things are creating disturbances. So as you are sojourning from the problem to the solution, this is another version of make a joyful noise unto the Lord. You want to make a joyful noise. You want to keep yourself undistracted by the ego mind. And anytime the ego mind suggests something to you, you want to shake it up with your voice, with the timbrels, or with the instruments. Bless ye God in the congregations, even the Lord from the fountain of Israel. The congregations are all your thought forms, every thought form in your mind. So we want God to be in all of your thoughts, and any place that you are hiding from God, or any thought forms or beliefs or anything that you're trying to keep secret from the infinite isn't going to help you. It's actually going to delay you. So you want to open up your entire being, all of the congregations, all of your thought forms, so that you can recognize God in the midst of it. Even the Lord from the fountain of Israel. Now, Israel is your soul. So that's where the infinite exists, the fountain of your soul. You don't look for God outside, up in the sky, even though it's talking about the sky here. That's a symbol. But the infinite exists as the fountain of your soul, because it's the source of your soul. So you look to the truth of who you are to find this infinite, not outside. There is the little Benjamin with their ruler, the prince of Judah and their council, the princess of Zebulun and the princess of Naphtali. So all of these thought forms that have been so important to you and that have been ruling your life, and all the main decisions that you've been making, all of your identities as a person, everything that you think you are. I'm Mary Smith, and I live at this address, and I come from these parents, and I'm this age, and I have this kind of education. This is my resume. All of those things you give unto the infinite to reinterpret, to use for your benefit. Thy God hath commanded thy strength. Strengthen, O God, that which thou hast wrought for us. The strength in this case is sphere number 5, which is Samael. Fight my battles for me. Fight all of these battles for me. All I want to do is dance and sing and play the timbrel, and I'm going to let the fighting happen on my behalf. That's not for me to do. Because of thy temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto thee. So the kings, again, are the important things in your life, the things that you think are the most important in your life. If you can allow yourself to have those parts of you bring gifts to the infinite into the temple, meaning that no matter what it is that you think is important to you, or no matter what you think is important about you, whether it's an important problem or whether it's an important blessing, bring presents unto the infinite. The infinite doesn't want food, doesn't want sacrifices, doesn't need incense. All of that's fine. You can do all that stuff, but that's not what we're talking about. What is the present that you can bring to the infinite? Praise. That's the only thing the infinite wants. And it doesn't want praise because it needs its ego stroked. Like, I want you to tell me how good I am. It wants praise because it knows that it makes your life good. Praise makes your life good, and it puts you into contact with your source. Rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls with the calves of the people, till everyone submit himself with pieces of silver. Scatter thou the people that delight in war. The problem is the people that delight in war here, and also the parts of your mind that are the cause of such things. We want those things to be scattered. All of your thought forms, every single part of you, whether it's the multitude of the bulls, the calves of the people, everyone submits with pieces of silver, again, bringing presents or tithes to the temple. And in this particular sense, it's not so much that you should send money, it's that you want to bring praise. That's your tithe, that's your gift, that's your silver. Princes shall come out of Egypt, Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hand unto God. So all of the problems, all of the places where you thought that were problematic for you are actually going to start to stretch out their hand to the infinite, to turn into blessings right before your eyes. Sing unto God, ye kingdoms of the earth. Oh, sing praises unto the Lord. Selah. So praising God one more time here. Kingdoms of the earth, that's all of your situations. Kingdoms of the earth are all of your manifest life. So whatever it is, whether good, bad, or indifferent, whether it's part of the problem or whether it's part of the successes in your life, you are being instructed what to do, and that is sing praises unto the infinite. When you do that, you put yourself in alignment with that power, and then nothing can stop you. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, doth he send out his voice, and that a mighty voice. Again, the will of God. The will of the infinite. The will of the infinite is for you to be happy. The will of the infinite is for this problem to be abolished. And the will of the infinite is for you to be aware of the infinite and to live with the infinite and to abide on Zion with the infinite, or that place of inner peace and joy and happiness. Ascribe ye strength unto God. His excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. The strength comes from the infinite to you and through you. The strength is sphere number 5, and it means whatever the problems are, whatever the battles are in your life, it's handled. You don't have to fight. O God, thou art terrible out of thy holy places. The God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be God. Again, with the strength unto his people. Let the infinite do it for you. You don't have to fight this thing. Let the infinite do it for you. The infinite is terrible, meaning as Samael, as that strength, as that warrior, as the ability to kill off this problem, nothing can fight against it. Your problems are outmatched, and one with God is a majority. So all your problems are solvable and are being solved as long as you allow it to be so and you don't interfere. The God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. People mean thoughts. So the infinite's thoughts are his people. You are a thought. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm only a thought. No, you're a thought of the infinite. That means that God always thinks of you, always cares about you. Nothing is more important than you. Nothing is less important than you either, but nothing is more important than you. The infinite doesn't have to prioritize. The infinite is omnipresent. The God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Israel is your soul, and you are an extension of that, and the infinite's got this and wants you to have this problem solved and is solving this problem. And so you just keep coming back to this psalm again and again. Give it that treatment and allow that problem to be annihilated, absolutely dissolved. And it's the way that the darkness of a room is annihilated when you turn on the light. It doesn't have to be scary and dramatic. It can be just that easy. And once you've gotten a sense that this problem is being solved, even if you don't see the effects of it in your life, in the physical world, once you get a sense of peace and certainty, everything's on the right track, you don't need to keep repeating this. You can just stop and forget all about it and move on to something else, because that means that your spell is cast. Just let it go. Let the infinite do its thing, and all will be well. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.